Welcome to Quick Course Digest. Today, we're jumping headfirst into sourcing analysis. We're going to explore how companies get all the stuff they need to run their business, and, more importantly, how the really smart ones turn that whole process into a massive competitive advantage. So let's kick things off with the one big question that really sits at the heart of all this. How do the best companies in the world take something as basic as spending money and turn it into a genuine strategic weapon? Because let me tell you, it's not just about buying things for cheap. It's about buying them smarter. And the answer? It all comes down to this idea, strategic sourcing. Now, this isn't your everyday, run-of-the-mill purchasing department stuff. We're talking about a long-term, big-picture game. Think of it like a workout routine for your company's spending. You're constantly reevaluating, always improving, and always asking, are we getting the absolute best value we possibly can? This is how procurement stops being just a cost center and starts creating real, tangible value. Okay, but an approach like that doesn't just happen by accident. It needs a rock-solid plan. So that's exactly where we're going to start. First up, building your procurement strategy. You've got to think of your procurement strategy as your roadmap, your North Star. It's the blueprint that guides every single buying decision, making sure each one is perfectly aligned with the company's bigger goals. It's what connects the dots between saving a buck here and there and actually building a real sustainable competitive edge in the marketplace. So how do you actually build this roadmap? Well, you start by taking a hard look at where your money is going right now. You get everyone important in a room and on the same page. You check out what's happening in the market, set some clear goals. But honestly, the most important step is the last one. Execute and adjust. A truly great strategy isn't something you write and then stick in a drawer. No way. It's a living, breathing thing that has to adapt as the world changes. And you know, getting this right requires a huge shift in mindset. For years, the game was all about price down, just squeezing your suppliers for the lowest possible price. It's tactical, it's short-term, and honestly, it can wreck relationships. The modern, strategic way to think is cost out. This is totally different. It's about working with your suppliers as partners to find and eliminate waste across the entire supply chain. It's a win-win that creates real, lasting savings for everybody. Which, of course, leads us right into our next big topic. Once you have a brilliant strategy, you need the right partners to bring it to life. So it's time to talk about selecting the right suppliers. Let's be clear. Picking a supplier is about so much more than just finding the lowest price. You have to look at the entire picture. Are they financially sound? Is their quality top-notch? Can they actually grow with your business? And today, things like their ethical practices and whether they can help you innovate are absolutely crucial. You're not just buying a product, you are choosing a partner for the long haul. The process itself is pretty straightforward, and it really boils down to 4 key moves. First, you figure out exactly what you need. Then, you screen all the potential players. After that, you negotiate the best deal possible. And finally, you lock it in with a contract and get them onboarded into your system. Now, you might think that signing the contract is the finish line, right? But in reality, it's just the starting gun. That brings us to the art of mastering the contract lifecycle. See, every contract kind of has a life of its own, and you can break it down into 3 phases. The pre-award phase is all that homework you do before anyone signs anything. Then there's the award phase, that's the negotiation and the big signature. But here's the secret. The most important part, the part people forget, is the post-award phase. This is the day-to-day work of managing the relationship and monitoring performance to make sure you're actually getting the value you agreed to. In fact, that post-award phase is so critical, it deserves its own spotlight. So let's dig into the long-term game, managing risk and performance. I love this quote because it perfectly sums up supply chain management today. Look, it's not about trying to avoid storms, because storms are gonna happen. That's a guarantee. It's all about building a ship that's strong enough to handle whatever comes its way and having the skills to navigate through rough waters. So where do these storms usually come from? Well, here's the kicker. It's often not where you're looking. It is so easy to just focus on your direct suppliers, the ones you talk to every day. But the really nasty surprises, the ones that can shut you down, are often hiding 1 or 2 or even 3 levels deeper in your supply chain. 40%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 40%. Because that's how many supply chain disruptions actually start with your supplier's supplier. As you can see right here, if you're only watching that first link in your chain, you're blind to a huge chunk of potential risk. You're missing a massive piece of the puzzle. So what on earth can you do about it? The answer is to be proactive, not reactive.
Diversifying your suppliers, not putting all your eggs in one basket, that's classic stuff. But it's also about constant monitoring, keeping the lines of communication wide open, and always having a plan B ready to go. This isn't a one and done task, it's a constant state of vigilance.
Okay, I get it. Managing all of this, the strategy, the partners, the risk, it can feel overwhelmingly complex. And you're right, it is. But lucky for us, we live in an age with some incredibly powerful tools, which brings us to our final section, leveraging modern sourcing tools. Seriously, technology is a total game changer here. Things like AI and machine learning can chew through mountains of data to find savings opportunities a human could never spot. And automation can take care of all the boring, repetitive tasks, which frees up your actual people to focus on what they do best, building relationships and handling complex negotiations. It's the definition of working smarter, not harder. Now, when it comes to actually picking these tools, you're usually looking at two main options. You can go for a fully customizable system that's tailored perfectly to your business, or you can grab an off-the-shelf solution that's way faster and cheaper to get up and running. There's no single right answer. As you can see, it's a series of trade-offs between things like flexibility, cost, and how well it plays with your other systems. The right choice is all about your company's unique situation. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. The world is moving and changing faster than ever before. A strategy that was genius 5 years ago might be a total disaster today. So the really critical question you have to ask yourself is this: is your supply chain built to deal with yesterday's problems? Or are you actively building a smart, resilient, and tech-powered supply chain that's ready to grab hold of tomorrow's opportunities?